All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? We're going to be talking about these wildfires very quickly, but the main theme of this video is not going to be about the fires themselves because that's going to be boring, all right? You know, you basically, for those who've been living under a rock, I'm going to spin this for you very quickly. There's been these disgusting, heinous, violent wildfires spreading all throughout the West Coast from California all the way to Oregon and Washington State. And there's very little that people can do to combat them, or at least our emergency services can do to stop them. It seems like they're deploying every resource imaginable, trying to do everything they can to put these fires out. Unfortunately, people have died. It's getting very serious. People are getting desperate. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced and evacuated. It's a nightmare. People's homes are going up in flames, literally and figuratively, and they have been all throughout the summer. So some people who are on the dissident right, who are politically, you know, they lean right, they have been suggesting that a lot of the people, or a handful of the deliberate wildfires that have been started, they were started at the hands of violent activists that are, you know, either members of or affiliated with, or you know, they're activists, that are aligned with BLM, with the Black Lives Matter activist thugs who have been, you know, completely devastating, most of the major cities here in the United States all throughout the summer over, the deaths of other violent thugs with career criminal statuses. You know, for whatever reason they feel they need to riot and destroy property and harm innocent people, especially people in their own cities. So the cities that are being most affected, they're far left, they're heavily blue. So you basically got these far leftist ideologues victimizing people who would otherwise be sympathetic towards their worldview. Had they not, set everything on fire, they probably, Biden or Trump, Trump wouldn't have had the boost that he's gotten in the polls. So people are definitely seeing what is going on, and they're running into the arms of Trump. So really quick, so Mother Jones, right-wing conspiracies linked Antifa to the wildfires. Then they got a big boost from Russian media. So once again, you got the lying press, the fake news industry, trying to revive the fake Russia narrative that these spooky, evil Russians are interfering in our elections. They're interfering in our politics. They are, kind of like these puppet masters that are pulling at the strings and kind of controlling what people who are on the right are saying or doing or suggesting. And they're sowing discord in America. Mind you, the Russians don't really need to be doing anything to sow discord. The far leftists themselves do a great job of that. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the figureheads of the Democratic Party do that very well. They can't condemn the violence. They won't condemn the violence. You got the pedophiles in Hollywood basically advocating for and supporting, policies like SB 145, where essentially you're having the retooling, the reworking, the reimagining of consent laws. The verbiage in these laws are literally suggesting that a minor can consent to sex with an adult. This is what is going on. And it's just like, oh, well, all this discord is being sowed by the Russians. How about the division in the nation springs forth from the fact that the modern left is absolutely insane and crazy. And I have nothing in common with people on the left. They're absolutely insane. And I have this article pulled up here. A man charged with arson in connection with Almeda Fire in Southern Oregon. And this is what he looks like. This is Michael Jared Bacella, 41, has been charged with 2 counts of arson for allegedly starting a fire in Phoenix, Oregon that burned dozens of homes to the ground. Like I said earlier, people have died. People are going to take years to recover from this, if they can recover from this. I'm not going to get too into the minutia of such things, but this is awful. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blame one political organization or another because the facts aren't out there yet. But I am going to be talking about the glaring hypocrisy of the modern left, of the fake news industry, the Silicon Valley cartel towards the end of this video. So stay tuned. I just want to read this little the very end of this article here. So this is a quote. The FBI Portland and local law enforcement agencies have been receiving reports that extremists are responsible for setting wildfires in Oregon. With our state and local partners, the FBI has investigated several such reports and found them to be untrue. The agency said in a statement. Conspiracy theories and misinformation take valuable resources away. Local fire and police agencies working around the clock to bring these fires under control. Please help our entire community by only sharing validated information from official sources. Well, the funny thing about this is if you're trying to If you're suspicious of wrongdoing, if you're suspicious of a crime and you report it to the police, it's not our job to substantiate the claims that we're making. It's your job to substantiate the claims that people are making. If somebody makes a report, hey, we have these guys in this black gear, they look like the BLM thugs that have been killing Trump supporters and have been burning down small businesses. I think they're up to no good and shenanigans. And now you have the FBI saying, oh, well, you're hurting the investigations. You're hurting the fire department, blah, 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 blah. The FBI is completely unreliable. They're not on our side. They're not our friend. For the most part, they're largely useless. They're a partisan organization. They've been, they're essentially when people think the deep state, the FBI is the deep state. It's part of the permanent government. It's not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. And, we got to be wary of the feds. Honestly, we got to be wary of these people. They're not trustworthy. It's funny because it's like, it's abundantly clear based off of, some of the findings or some of the claims made by Trump, about the FBI spying on his campaign, basically saying, we're not going to let him get away with this, Sturzak and Lisa Page, these goofballs that were formerly, employed at the FBI, these guys were up to no good. And, it's just like these people got caught. You think they're the only ones? There's a lot of members of the FBI that lean far left. This is what we're dealing with. And of course, it doesn't surprise me. It's really easy to come forward and say something like, oh, well, you're hurting efforts to stop the fires by falsely or, by not posting or by not communicating validated information to us. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Fuck the FBI. I want to highlight this really quick. So, and again, there's just too many examples to cite here in this video, but Oregon woman holds suspected arsonist at gunpoint as wildfires rages. Look at the images here, man. The quality of the air, you can just see that it's not good in this image. So this guy was found on private property, her private property, and he had matches on him. He said he was a smoker, and she's afraid to come forward with more personal information because she's afraid that people are going to come after her. Why would somebody who is reporting a crime, reporting a trespasser with matches in a state that is heavily impacted by wildfires, be afraid for her safety? Here's the very end of this article. Here's a quote. I will not put my family in danger by exposing myself any more than what I have already. Makes you think, doesn't it? So this is the doofus that she found. I don't know what's going on with his shirt. I don't know. He looks like a retard. But yeah, right here, those are matches. She's got a gun. She confronts him with a firearm. She holds him in, she holds him, she keeps him there. She's detaining him essentially. And there weren't any cigarettes on him. There weren't any cigarettes found. Yeah, he ended up confessing. Fortunately, the police came and they took this creep away. But you know what? It's Oregon. Oregon sucks. It's a political nightmare to have the opposing viewpoint as some of the leadership, as some of the judges in this area. It's very possible that this guy gets let go and he continues to set fires. He continues to start problems because that's what some of these guys, some of these creeps do. And it's very possible that the woman who came forward with a firearm and detained this man ends up getting charges brought against her, because we're seeing a surge of events all throughout the country where people are defending their property, defending their lives, preventing, deterring crime, being penalized by these overzealous, ideologically driven judges and prosecutors and district attorneys. This is absolutely happening. This isn't a joke. We're in a lot of trouble. And you know what? Now Facebook and some of the other members of the Silicon Valley cartel are saying to us that we are going to, let me just read this here. Facebook says it will remove false claims about who started wildfires in Oregon. You know what? Fair enough. If you don't want a bunch of people online speculating about a political group, a political ideology. They don't want to single out any specific group for whatever reason, and posting a bunch of unsubstantiated claims about these wildfires. Fine, fair enough. People shouldn't be lying about what is going on. People shouldn't be misleading or spreading misinformation and making things worse, because that's certainly what will appear to happen. But isn't it funny when it comes to falsely accusing, let's say, Black Lives Matter activists or Antifa, when it comes to accusing them of crimes without evidence, that's a bad thing. They're going to remove content. They're going to remove posts. They're going to remove articles that people share. if it claims or asserts that a certain political ideology is responsible for making the situation on the West Coast worse. But isn't it funny that they didn't extend that courtesy to any other sort of event that went viral, that was on a lot of people's radar? Of course, I'm talking about Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh was falsely accused numerous times of being a rapist, an individual who drugs women, not just a serial rapist, a abuser, a potential murderer. You know, one of the women, Christine Blasey Ford, said that she thought she was going to be killed by Brett Kavanaugh. All of these things made without evidence, tens of thousands, millions of people sharing things, posting things that are false about Brett Kavanaugh. None of that was deleted. None of that was, there weren't articles published about having, blatantly false statements about about someone who's going to be a Supreme Court justice removed. I thought that was funny. How about the Covington Catholic kids? The Covington Catholic kids were threatened. Tens of thousands of people threatened the lives of these kids. Tens of thousands of people threatened to go to their school, set it on fire with the kids inside. By the way, does that sound familiar? Are we not seeing that now? All of that was allowed. People were posting their parents' phone numbers or addresses or places of work. And, where was the fake news industry then? To defend these people, to defend these kids, to defend their parents over lies. The lie was these kids were accosting and threatening these brave indigenous people, which didn't happen at all. Even celebrities were blatantly spreading misinformation about these kids. None of those posts were removed. There weren't retractions made. There weren't apologies made. Even members of the right, like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, came out and were spreading misinformation, making false statements against these kids. And it didn't seem like anyone bothered to do anything about it who absolutely had the ability to do so. Isn't it funny when the roles are reversed and now we have a wildfire? We have these wildfires all throughout the West Coast where violent rioting has occurred reliably with reliable frequency all throughout the summer, and we can't speculate. We can't look at the images of the people who have been arrested for allegedly setting these brush fires. And we can't, talk about what their political leanings might be or their motivations. I don't know. I find that very hypocritical. The fake news industry's hypocrisy is on full display right now. What about the Jussie Smollett event? You have this individual claiming it was a modern day lynching. They poured bleach on him. It was evil, racist white men falsely accusing white men for committing a violent act against him. And, there were attempts, because of this event, they were using this event to promote anti-lynching legislation. They were, there was a lot of anti-Trump propaganda and sentiments being spread and echoed all throughout social media, even in the real world. And, again, this is all misinformation. None of this was substantiated or supported by any sort of evidence that existed at the time. The second that I saw that article break from TMZ about Jussie Smollett and how he was attacked during a polar vortex at 2 a.m. and they called him, all this racist junk, and it's just like when he was getting like a sandwich or something, and they're just like, and they knew what show he was on. It's like, no, I'm sorry, this literally did not happen. Yeah, usually I'm not one to be like, believe the victim. Usually I'm not the person who's like, instantly in disagreement with the claim that I hear, or I'm instantly skeptical of it. But I was instantly skeptical of Jussie Smollett's BS claims. But that was okay. He's allowed to completely condemn the political right. He's allowed to completely condemn and admonish the President of the United States without any evidence. That's fine. But as soon as you start doing that, to the modern left, to their foot soldiers, Antifa and the Black Lives Matter activist thugs, who, by the way, have been incredibly violent all throughout the summer, then Facebook is going to come in and they're going to censor your lawful speech. They're going to censor your theories. They're going to censor your speculation. If you're a member of the FBI and you lean far left, you're going to come forward and they're going to say, oh, well, you know what? There's no evidence. You're hurting the firemen. You're hurting the investigations. Why don't you come forward when you actually have some validated claims? Blah, 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 blah. People got to wake up to this stuff, man. People seriously got to wake up to this stuff and be sickened by it. And you know what? I'm done. I'm done with the hypocrisy. And you know what? I can't take any more of this. I genuinely cannot take any more of this. And I implore everyone to please support the President of the United States. You know, the only way we can, one of the best ways to defeat them is by tiring them out. And we do so. We defeat them. Just a major blow to this propaganda campaign by getting the President of the United States reelected. Please, everybody, register to vote. Go out there and support the Republicans. This is coming from a registered Democrat. I am a registered Democrat. I was a lifelong Democrat, and I am never voting for a Democrat ever again in my life. I will not. You'd have to, maybe if there was a gun pointed at my head and I was forced to vote for Democrats, maybe then I might. But you know what? If I vote Democrat, I'm dead anyway. So you know what? You know, that's just how it's got to be. Be skeptical. Question everything. Don't believe what these liars say. Trust your instincts, because they're playing games with our lives. They're playing games with the truth. And you know what? I don't see them changing anytime soon. Peace out.